This video is going to show you how to set up a lookup table. That way you can match data to This video is going to show you how to use approximate matching to set up a lookup table that you can use to, for example, assign letter grades. So in this example, we're looking at how letter grades are broken down into different percentage buckets. So in this case, typically we think of less than 60% as being failing, between 60% and up to 70% being a D, 70% up to but not including 80% is a C, 80% up to 90 but not including 90 is a B, and 90 and bigger is an A. So it's really important how I stated those inequalities that we think about whether a number should be included in the next higher bucket or the next smaller bucket. So in this example, right, we know that a D should be 60% should be a D, and it shouldn't get rounded down to an F. Similarly, a 90% should be an A and shouldn't be associated with the bucket of B. All right, this is going to be important with how we set up our lookup table, because importantly, we can't use that set of data to look anything up. Let's try real quick. All right, we can do an index match. So the array that we want back, well, it's going to be our grades. Our match lookup value is going to be our percentage grade. We're then going to look that up in this table of percent grades. We're going to do ascending matching because it's organized from low to high. So we've got our 1. And then we're going to see that we get an NA. And that's because 78% as a number can't be compared to all of this text, right? That's text because we have letters in there, we have logical operators. Those aren't numbers that we can compare to, which is why we need this extra area here where we're going to have our lookup percent. We have to set up our table to allow the index match to work. So the way we're going to do that, and since it's ascending, we need to start our first group with the lowest possible grade. So 0% is our lowest grade. That's what we're going to put in our first cell there. Now, for ascending matching, we're going to use the lowest possible grade within that letter grade. So the lowest percentage within that letter grade. So for a D, the lowest percentage you can get is a 60%. For a C, it's 70%, 80% for a B, and 90% for an A. So now if we come to our index match function, I'm just going to drag over our match array. And now we see that a 78% is associated with a C. And let's just run through how it's working. Right? It starts at the first number. It says, okay, is that bigger than 78%? No. 60? No. 70? No. 80? Yes, that's bigger than 78%. Go back by 1 and give me my C as the answer. So that's how the match function is thinking. So we need to let it basically build our table so when it finds that 80, it needs to go back to the previous grade if it actually is less than 80%. So in this case, 78% gets us our grade of a C. So let's go ahead and come over here, copy that down, and let's check a couple. 90%, that gives us an A. Good. 96%, A. 87, B. 67, D. It looks like it's working okay. If it's not, that's a sign that you probably need to change these lookup thresholds a little bit. In this case, with ascending matching, we want to set up our threshold so we get the exact match or the next smaller, meaning that we're putting these at the bottom of our threshold ranges. Right? Our threshold range for a D is 60 to 70, so we set it the lookup percent at the lower end, at the 60%. For A, the lower end is 90%, so that's why we have 90% associated there. Now we can also do this same exercise with XLOOKUP. All right, we can do our XLOOKUP value, our lookup array, and our return array. See, I accidentally got a period in there. You always got to watch out for that, so there should be a comma. And I also didn't do my approximate matching. So for my approximate matching, now we have to say, should it be exact match or next smaller or exact match or next larger? All right, so if it's 78%, for example, right, should that match to the 70 or the 80, right? For the 70%, we want it to match 78%. We want it to match to 70 because that's a C, right? Otherwise, it would match to the next greater and round up to the B. So in this case, we want to use exact match or next smaller, so the -1. And we should get the same answers. We can copy that down. And we see we get the same answers with our XLOOKUP as we did with our index match. Now the last thing we can do is we can actually do this with VLOOKUP, but not with the current setup, right? Because index match and XLOOKUP can both look to the left. In this case, VLOOKUP cannot do that. So if we're going to use VLOOKUP, we have to do an extra step here of recreating our letter grades, giving VLOOKUP a chance to work. So we're going to recreate those. It's kind of clunky, and one of the reasons we don't like using VLOOKUP that much. But now we can look up our value in our lookup table, return our second column, and now finally, you guys have been using false the whole time. Now we can finally use our true. Now importantly, this only works with ascending matching. There's not a way that you can use VLOOKUP with descending matching like you can for match. So VLOOKUP only works with ascending matching, and you have to structure it so you're looking to the right. Once we do that though, we get our same answer as what we saw from our index match or from our XLOOKUP. Once it gets us a chance to think, we get kind of a consistent answer across all three columns.